Well, hello there, squaddies. Hi. Say hello if you're there, or hashtag replay, as always, if you're watching this on replay. Now, I'm here a little bit earlier than planned because I realised last week when we did the Q&A, Will was in the middle of eating his dinner. Now, we're currently getting home renovations done and we are living on top of each other. So we're living between the office, which is here, and the bedroom. So I thought, let's quickly do this Q&A. Well, not quickly, but let's do the Q&A before Will sits down and has his dinner. And you will have to listen to his knife and fork again. So, hi. Oh, Joe, hello. You'll see as well today that I published the socials for 2024, which is so exciting. I listened to your feedback. So the socials and the type of socials are all based on what you told me that you wanted to see more of, which I know you wanted to see more local walks. It's a great opportunity to get out in fresh air and chat with each other. Charlotte, hi. You also said that you wanted to do like more low-key things, so going to the village hall, doing a class, and then doing the bigger ones. So like, for example, I've got cocktail making a few times throughout the year. Amy, hello. Oh, it's so good to see you all. Hello. Welcome, welcome. So do have a look at those socials and just pop the date in your diary. The ones that you can book now, that's the wreath making, which is in November. So do come along to that one. Also the spa day in November, and the Christmas one is actually full. I'm going to be opening bookings really soon for the 9th of December. So please pop this in your diary. And this is it's a free class on the premise that you bring some food to give to a food bank for Christmas. So last year we actually got 450 kilos of food for the local food bank. Do make sure that you start to stock up. If it's maybe smart price cornflakes or whatever, maybe someone's given you some chockies that you don't like or you don't want, or I don't know, whatever you want. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to do that on the 9th of December. Just host a class in Loudon and maybe get the scouts involved again because they were amazing helping pack everything up. So that is what's been going on. And I've also filmed the monthly updates, which I'll be sending to you on an email tomorrow. So look out for that. You'll also hear about the retreat opening for 2024. Either tomorrow or Friday, depending on if you signed up to my early bird email list or not for the retreat. So you'll hear about that soon. It's first come, first serve. There's only so many rooms. And I have also been so busy planning everything for the 28-day menopause reset course I'm running on Monday. So this is for all women who are perimenopausal or postmenopausal and want to know what they should be doing with their diet and their fitness in this stage of life to really, really embrace it and to go through it with confidence and know what they need to do to best manage menopause symptoms. Or even if you're not in that perimenopausal stage and actually you want to equip yourself with that knowledge and that education so that when you do reach a stage, you think, okay, I'm dealing with that right now. I know how to, I don't want to give it all away, but I'm dealing with X, Y, Z right now. Okay, I know how to best tackle this holistically. I know what to do. So it's about empowering women to make good decisions for their health and fitness and just sharing the knowledge that I feel like every woman should have as well and every woman should have access to. So that is what I'm going to be doing, but we're going to break it down bite-sized little chunks. I'm not going to throw loads of stuff at you and put things into practice. So if you want to hop onto that team, please do get booked on because we start on Monday. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be great. And it's all as well. You can do it on catch up. So if you're really, really busy, please don't worry. You can do it whenever suits you, okay? Right, on with the questions. Apple software update. Not now, thank you. No, quit. Right. Otherwise, I won't be able to read the questions. I've got my laptop here with the questions. So many amazing questions. Right, let's start from the beginning and we'll work through them. We're going to be talking about period bloat today, intermittent fasting. We'll be talking about the 70-30 rule. We'll be talking about meal planning, calorie counting, whether things with like protein added are good or is it better than normal food, and planning when you're busy, like when you're traveling for work and things. So question number 1. Is it normal to gain weight during your period? Is it water retention? I always feel so heavy and just awful. And actually the scales show more every month. I don't know if that word was a swear word or not, so I didn't say it. So I just hope that it's normal. Yes, it's completely normal. And it's due to the hormonal fluctuation, which makes you retain fluid. So yeah, you get fluid retention because your hormones are fluctuating. So please don't worry. So it's also that. So you're holding extra water. So it's not fat, it's not weight, it's water that usually will just go away the first 2-3 days of your period. It can also be, if you've got a bit of a backlog. So if you're feeling a little bit constipated, which can happen as well, and that is due to the spike in progesterone, and that it basically slows the digestion down, or it can make us get a little bit blocked. So yes, it's water retention or the fact that we're a little bit blocked, and it will go away. Please be reassured that to actually put a pound of weight on, a pound of fat, you have to eat 3,500 calories over your maintenance. That is a lot. That is a heck of a lot. That is 350 bananas, basically, over your maintenance. And no one's going to do that, are they? Because that would be really uncomfortable. But anyway, basically, you've got to eat a lot to go over by just a pound. Your weight can fluctuate by 5 pounds a day. So that is, and if you are somebody who gets affected by a scale weight and actually it affects the rest of your day, I would be questioning about whether you should be using the scales as a measure of progress, number one. And number two, what you can do, there's a few methods you can use, but one that I would recommend is weighing yourself every single day at the same time, first thing in the morning, and then comparing the lowest weight of the week over the month. So that way it can take out some of those fluctuations and makes you take a step back and look at it like data. Just as long as you don't get affected by that number. And if you do, like I said, you need to be questioning, should I actually be measuring my progress like this? Because you're not a number at the end of the day. So yeah, that is completely normal. Bloating and water retention before your period, and therefore a higher weight on the scale because water retention is normal. Number two, quick question from this morning's class. When you said in it to win it, in it to win what? Aha! That was talking about Tech Will's Sunday stats. So every Sunday on the Facebook group, Will puts up a question, and it's usually about a statistic like, for example, what has been the most popular class at Ordinary Fitness over the past few months, or how many favourites is a Pilates class. I don't know. He does it, I don't. You can tell. And whoever wins it or gets the closest gets to choose a class for the week ahead. And that's what that was about. You need to be in it to win it. So do what I know Anna and Annette, and I think Hayley does it as well. Write a little bullet point list of classes that you want to do. So you save them up and then just enter every week into Tech Will's Sunday Stats. And then, one day you might win. And then you can do your class of your choice. That's a great thing to do. In it to win it. Everyone should be doing Tech Will's Sunday Stats because he loves doing it as well. So let's make Tech Will happy. Question number 3. And it's fun, isn't it? Question 3. Not sure exactly my question, but how do I shift a habit of a lifetime with eating, etc.? And what kind of meals are everyone's easy and quick but healthy meal ideas? I've recently been diagnosed with celiac disease, so I feel like diet is already quite stressful at the moment, but I'm worried if I don't start with new meal ideas now, I'll move into bad habits, and I really struggle with lunch ideas. Okay, so first of all, I feel like you're being really harsh on yourself here. So you've just had your diagnosis, which, in a way is a really great thing because now you know what you're working with. So the first thing I would do is just take a little step back and kind of educate myself a little bit more. Like what foods don't have gluten in, what are the alternatives out there? And knowledge is power. So just educate yourself a little bit more on celiac disease and what is out there, because there's so much out there now that is gluten-free. It's unreal. So that's the first thing I would do. Educate myself. Knowledge is power. Then I would be making sure that I plan for the week ahead the best I could. So when you do that healthy food shop, making sure you're getting foods in there that, are going to fit in with your new gluten-free diet, but also you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I think a lot of people first start with us and think that everything that they're currently doing is just wrong and bad, and they need to go back to the drawing board and start again with the diet. And actually, it's not like that at all. It's just about making sure you're giving the body what it needs most of the time, and then a little bit of what you want too, like the 70-30 rule, which is what we'll come to later. And it's not a hard rule, by the way. It is mainly focusing 70% of the time-ish on things that are really, really nourishing for your body. You know, like lean proteins, like whole grains, like food that isn't as processed or food that's not processed. Thinking of things that are good for your body, going to give you the vitamins, the minerals that your body needs. And then, of course, having a little bit of what you want too. So I would plan ahead. Write down a few foods that you want to go and buy, you want to try, do a healthy food shop, get it all in, get some gluten-free bread in, some gluten-free snacks in. That is what I would do. And anything where you feel like, oh, you know, that's a bad habit, I could slip into it, maybe don't get it in. Just don't buy it in or make it more difficult to get to. So for example, if your downfall is biscuits and you're leaving them out on the side in the kitchen, then what's going to happen? Or you're leaving them in the office, like right next to you, what's going to happen? Just put them out of sight, out of mind, or don't buy them in. I realise that's, you know, difficult if you're living, say, with family or partners and they want those things, but you know that it's your downfall, so you want a little bit of time off. I know it can be difficult, but sometimes as well, what you can do is if you feel like you're about to slip into bad habits or you're about to eat something, you know that you'd be like, oh, probably shouldn't have done that, is use the HALT technique. And that is H for hunger. So actually just take a moment, like breathe. Am I hungry? No. Okay. A is like angry, but you can use it as, am I feeling a bit emotional? L stands for lonely, but use it here as bored. Am I just bored right now? Or T, am I tired? Like, am I literally lacking energy? And then you can think, well, is it because it's the time of the month? Is it because I haven't slept very well? Or is it because I've not really been feeding myself proper, wholesome meals and that is why I have no energy? So then you can look at it like that, like look at it from a pragmatic sort of standpoint. Now, you did ask specifically about some quick lunch ideas. Now, there's loads of lunch ideas, but here's a few, okay? Salads. So you can fill your bowl with salad, with veggies, put a bit of lean protein on there, and then maybe some croutons, gluten-free croutons for that extra texture and that crunch, which is always nice. Then you could do things like quinoa bowls or rice bowls, and then really similar, you can put your lean proteins in there, you could add your veggies, maybe putting in some sauces, gluten-free sauces, maybe teriyaki, you could do a stir fry. You could make a big stir fry and then you could use it for your lunches. That's always a good thing to do, you know, like make extra at dinner and then you can use it for your lunches. Sandwiches, there is nothing wrong with a sandwich. Love a good sandwich. I eat sandwiches probably every day. You get some gluten-free bread. You could fill it with turkey. You could fill it with chicken. You could have tuna. You could have whatever you want in your sandwich. So we've had salads there. We've had sandwiches. We've had quinoa and rice bowls. Another one, soup and a sandwich, or soup and a salad. Another one, I'm just thinking of things that I would have. Omelets are totally gluten-free. So you can stuff an omelette with whatever you want as well. Omelets are fabulous. And then if you want some kind of carbohydrate source in there, you could have some gluten-free bread or whatever just on the side. Let me think of another one. Yeah, another one is good. Just baked potato, and then whatever filling you want on top. Sweet potato, I love a sweet potato. So you could do sweet potato with something like sweet potato. This isn't everyone's cup of tea, but I like sweet potato and cottage cheese. It's great carbohydrate and protein hit in one. So there's some really quick lunch ideas that you could do. Or eggs. Eggs are just fantastic, aren't they? Poached eggs on toast, gluten-free toast if you've got celiac. So I hope that's useful. But I think the most important thing is just take a step back here. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's all about making small tweaks as well over time. So you could take, for example, what you normally have and just think, okay, what's one thing that I could change that would make this more nourishing for my body or make it a little bit healthier? Just one thing that I could change. And then next week. Okay, right, I've dealt with lunch and made a little alteration there. What's one thing that I could do at breakfast to make my breakfast a little bit healthier? You don't have to just cancel all meals, okay? I hope that's helpful. Question number 4. Do you recommend calorie counting or just practicing the 70-30 rule? Now, calorie counting isn't for everybody, and it's also not a long-term thing. It should not be a long-term thing. I would avoid calorie counting if you have a past poor relationship with food, if you have a past of eating disorders or disordered eating, or if you are just so busy and overwhelmed that it would become an extra thing to do on your to-do list. Then I would be thinking of not bothering with calorie counting. It can be useful at the start of, say, like a weight loss journey or a fat loss journey. It can be useful just to get a better idea of what your daily intake is, what's in certain foods, and for your own knowledge and just, kind of learning more about what's in foods. But you don't need to do it. And way back when, people lost weight before calorie counters. and you shouldn't, it's not something that you want to rely on for the long term either, because who wants to spend the rest of their life thinking about, oh, how many calories are in this drop of milk, or I'm going out for dinner tonight, I'm not going to be able to track. It can just completely take over, and you don't need to live your life like that. So if you wanted to do it the other approach, you could do calorie counting if you wanted. If you want to use the other approach, and this is just for if you're on a weight loss journey, by the way, you could go with the consistency approach, and that would be having pretty much the same breakfast, lunch and dinner every day, and using it to see how you want to adjust and to learn more about your body's needs. So for example, I don't know about you, but I have the same breakfast pretty much every day apart from the weekends. I have porridge every morning and it's exactly the same, and I don't care, because for me, I don't have to think, it's just there, I make it, it's done, I like it, it fuels me, it's great, love porridge. Then lunch and dinner pretty much are like the same. And what you can do is say have the same lunch and dinner and just switch out the protein source so you know where you're at. And then if you have the same breakfast and then pretty much same lunch and dinner, just switching out that protein source, and maybe a couple of snacks, like a piece of fruit, Greek yogurt or whatever, you can monitor for 3 or 4 weeks. Is that working? And you need to be honest with yourself. Like if you're doing that Monday to Friday and then you're going out and you're having a takeaway and then you're going out for dinner and then you're having a bottomless brunch, like that isn't going to be consistent, really. So you need to be honest with yourself. I'm not saying you can't do those things, but you know what I'm trying to get at here. So if you've done that for 3 or 4 weeks and then it's not working, you could just reduce your portion sizes by 20%. Do that for 3 or 4 weeks and monitor again and go for the consistency approach. But the whole idea with the 70-30 rule is 70% of the time, as in over the week, over the whole week, for example, you're focusing on eating foods that are nourishing for your body. They're wholesome foods. They are lean proteins. They're vitamin minerals. It's veggies. It's salads. It's whole grains. It's having the baked potatoes. It's having things that are nourishing for your body, natural foods. And the 30% of the time, it's the little bit what you want. It's the maybe really highly processed food, the Pop-Tarts. It is the, I'm just trying to think of different ones now. It's the wine. It's the fish and chip van. Maybe just if you're on a weight loss journey, you might want to do fish and chips. You couldn't still have fish and chips, by the way, but you might just want to, reduce the portion size a little bit or have half or... You know what I'm trying to say? That is the 70-30 rule. And I think it's a quite good rule to go by, to live your life by, really, for a healthy balance. You've got a bit of what you want and you're giving the body what it needs. You don't need to cut anything out your diet. I'm not here for cutting stuff out your diet. I don't think it's good in the long term and it can really trigger the all or nothing mindset. So that's the 70-30 rule, but it doesn't mean you need to calculate, okay, 70% of my week I've done this. It's a rough guide, and it's more of like a lifestyle and a mindset. So I hope that was helpful. So you can calorie count or you can try the consistency approach, but really what you want to do is make a plan that's going to work for you and stick at it. stick at it for 3 or 4 weeks. If you do it for a week and like, oh, I've got on the scales and the weight's gone up, it's not working. Well, that could be water for starters, and you've not given it any chance. So you need to see what's going to work for you. And my best advice would be go to the nutrition area and click the video that says meal plan guide. I talk you through how to make a good meal plan for you. I'm not one of these fitness instructors or coaches that will say, yeah, sure, I'll write down what you need to have for your breakfast, lunch and dinner and eat that. Because as soon as I don't tell you that, then, you know, you're not going to have learned what's right for you and what's right for your body. You're not going to have experimented. You don't have that knowledge behind what you should be having, because I've just written out a plan for you to follow. And that's not helpful and it's not useful in the long run. So I'm not going to do that. You need to learn it for you so that you can do it in the long run, to put you in control and you in the driver's seat of your health and fitness. So I want to facilitate that. And I hope you see that as well, where I'm coming from with that. Question 5. I have a question about planning meals. Should I write it down if I eat something that's unplanned? So meal planning doesn't have to be for everyone. It doesn't have to be like a really long-term thing either. So when you come onto our 6-week course, I encourage everyone to plan the meals for the head. Oh my gosh, Lorna, get your words out. When you first join us, I encourage everybody to plan your meals for the week ahead. And it's a good habit to get into anyway. But the reason I say you want to do it at the start is because when you've been with us for a while, you probably already have your basket of food saved on your online shopping that you just reorder again. So you're probably already kind of doing it and you're having similar meals. If you're not, I would probably recommend do some meal planning. But just sit down and plan your meals for the week ahead so you know what you're going to buy. You know you're going to have healthy stuff in. If you are writing things down every day, like a food journal and a food diary for your meal planning, it's a good thing to do for accountability. So if you feel like if you've written it down, then you're going to stick to it. It is also a really good thing to do to build data about you and about yourself. So for example, if you say, right, I'm going to have that for lunch, I'm going to have that for breakfast, I'm going to have that for dinner, and then have these 2 snacks, and then you end up having something unplanned. I promise I'll carry on this conversation at the same time, but we just need to let Will in because I'm going to be in trouble. You get to see my my staircase as well. Look at this, right? I don't have a staircase at the moment. I put towels up so Harvey doesn't jump. It's not Will. Okay, I'm not really sure who was trying to get into the house, but anyway, we'll leave that there. But yeah, like I was saying, if you have something that is unplanned, then you need to be asking yourself, okay, why did I have that? Because it was unplanned. Is it because you're hungry? And then actually you need to alter your meal plan. Is it because you were stressed, or is it because you were emotional eating? You know, what was it? What made you need to change that? And you're just getting that data and building it up, and then you can adjust from there. But it can be really, really useful thing to do. And yes, if you have something that is unplanned and you're literally writing everything out, you do need to write it down. You need to be honest with yourself. And the point of doing it is it's a place of non-judgment. So you're not judging yourself for doing these things. It's just a method of either accountability or collecting data or getting to know you and trying out a meal plan and seeing if it's working. So if you write it down and then say you're using that consistency approach I was talking about, you're writing down what you're having. Okay, that's not quite working, so we need to make some small adjustments. And you know, you've got that data there to go by and you can do it that way. But you don't need to do it. It's not something you need to do forever, but it can be a useful little tool. But yeah, if that's how you're doing it, then you do need to write everything down. I would advise you to write everything down. Sometimes what I do is I don't write a meal plan down as such, but if I feel like sometimes, because hey, I'm only human too, if I feel like sometimes, Will Bell, you're watching this live, I just came downstairs to let you in and I couldn't see you. Have you not got a key? Will Bell, answer me on this live, please. But sometimes I will just write things down, like say if I've gone off track for a little bit, I mean, yes, I do that too. I'm human. But what I do is think, okay, I'll draw a line. Right, let's get back on it. Get back onto my 70-30 Lorna, and I'll just write things down for a little bit. And I'll plan for the week ahead, and I'll make myself accountable and write down everything that I'm having in a little book, because for me, that's like a little bit of a reset. So you can use that as well. It's quite useful. All right. Question 6. Lorna, I'm seeing lots of ingredients, for example, yogurts with protein added. Are these better than normal foods? What do you think, please? You need to be careful with these things. So sometimes I would always try and get protein from your food, by the way. Always, always, always get the protein from your food first and foremost. But if you find it hard to get enough protein into your diet, that is where supplementation, can be useful, like a protein bar or a protein yogurt or protein powder or whatever it might be. That's where it can be useful. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I would be looking at the ingredients. Are there any added sugars? Are there any added like emulsifiers or additives or words that you can't pronounce? What's actually in the thing that you're eating? It's almost like, when they have those low or no fat yogurts and they just pump it with a load of additives and a load of sugar just to make it try and taste nicer. So you need to be thinking about, okay, what am I actually putting into my body? And one thing to watch out for as well is quite often with these protein foods and protein added this and protein added that, they haven't actually really added much protein compared to like the original version. And one thing I'm thinking of is protein porridge. When you get those pots of protein, it's like, oh yeah, this is protein porridge. And there's like literally 2 grams more of protein in than there would be like a normal one. Or maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but basically it's completely and utterly pointless. And they just use it as a marketing technique. And you might find as well that you're paying above and beyond for products like that. So first and foremost, I'll just try and get it from your food. But if you like the taste, you like the flavour, like I said, a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything is absolutely fine. If you're short on a bit of protein for the day and you're on the go, go grab a protein bar. There's nothing wrong with that. But are they better than the normal version? No. No, not really, no. The original is always better. So for example, a bowl of porridge versus a bowl of processed protein porridge. The bowl of porridge. I'm talking about porridge pots here because they add other stuff. One thing that might be a happy medium, and this is what I do, have porridge and get your protein powder, your scoop, put it in yourself and make your own that way. Or maybe even better is probably just have eggs, isn't it? Let's be honest. It depends what you like. What's your jam? All right. My question is, as I need to travel to London 2 days every week, it seems harder to plan my meals or exercise on those days. It's also harder to get enough sleep because I'll be catching the earlier train. So how do I plan around those days? Okay, it is difficult when you're traveling, but what you need to do is be prepared. So I would be sat there at the weekend thinking, okay, which days am I traveling this week? Right, so I know they're going to be really busy, so I need to make sure that I'm prepared. Is there any way that you can do some sort of meal prep? Like, can you pre-prepare your breakfast? Like, take some overnight oats and eat them on the train. Can you take like a little lunch bag with you and maybe have your lunch in there? So you take a salad with you or a sandwich that you've prepared yourself. Can you take stuff with you? I would also have a load of healthy snacks in my bag, so if I get caught out, I've got them there. Another thing you could do is if you go, if you're traveling for work and you're going to the same place in London, where's the healthiest place to stop for lunch? Can you scout those out and then just make sure that you go there? Can you make sure you include some walking into your day? So I know when you go down to London and we travel for work, quite often there is a lot of commuting and walking involved, and that all counts towards activity. And then with your workouts, you've got the choice of, okay, I do it either before I go, so I can get it really early, I'm going to do it first thing, or if that's not possible, do it when you get home. And if it's a really long day and that's not possible, maybe on those days, walking is your activity and do your workouts, your scheduled workouts on the days that you're not going to be traveling. Even if that means you're going to be a bit more of a weekend warrior and sort of cram them into Friday, Saturday, Sunday or whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you're getting them into your week. But it's about taking that time beforehand and seeing where is best to do this. And Consistency is key. So consistency is really important. But if you're traveling, say, 2 days out of the 7, you can be consistent for the 5 days. And on the 2 days, you just have to adjust your schedule and make sure you're planning ahead, taking the snacks with you, taking the meals with you, or making sure you scout out the healthiest places that you can go, making sure you're walking, you're doing your workouts on the days where you're not traveling. It's just about being flexible as well and just being sensible with it. And to control the controllables. Try and, if you're struggling with your sleep, try and get an earlier night if and where possible. And if you struggle to get to sleep, can you do some breath work or can you do some pre-bedtime yoga? Can you make sure you've got a proper wind down routine to control the controllables as and where you can? Now we're nearly there, gang. I have 2 questions left and I still haven't seen Tech Will. Tech Will, if you commented on this live, I've not seen it. We'd love to know your view on intermittent fasting, pros and cons. Intermittent fasting is just another way to get into, if you want to, a calorie deficit. This is what intermittent fasting is. It's having a window where you're not eating. So for example, some people like to follow the rule where you're eating in the hours from 12 till 8 or whatever, and then not the rest of the time. There's different versions of it. And yeah, it works for some people, it doesn't for other people. So some people choose a window where they're going to eat and then they'll have like a few hours, quite a lot of hours off. A lot of people do it where they eat within it is the 8-hour window. It's the 8 hours where they eat within the 8 hours. I don't know. There's so many different versions that you can do. But essentially, the reason people do it is because it gets them into a calorie deficit. So calories out are greater than calories in because they're skipping a meal. So they wouldn't have breakfast, for example. They'd start at about lunchtime, then have lunch and dinner, and then they wouldn't eat until the next day at lunchtime. That works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. I wouldn't recommend it if you're an active person. And I also wouldn't recommend it if you've got a disordered eating past or a past with eating disorders or you struggle with your relationship with food. I wouldn't recommend it if you're in either of those situations. For some people it really works. For some people it doesn't. Me personally, I wouldn't do very well on intermittent fasting whatsoever. My mood would be all over the place. I'd have no energy and I wouldn't be able to give my all in my workouts. And I want to make the most out of my workouts. I want to feel energized and I don't want to be mardy. So it doesn't work for me, but it might work for some people. Say if you've got quite a sedentary job and you just go into work, you don't actually get hungry until lunchtime anyway, it might work for you. But that's my view. Yeah, whatever is best for you. You've got to find what works for you and what works for you in your phase of life as well. I hope that's useful. Okay, moving on. Last one. My question is, I'm feeling unwell with a head cold this week. What are your tips for keeping active and staying on track with nutrition, even when you feel under the weather? So the thing you want to do is make sure that you're giving your body adequate rest to recover. The harder you rest, the faster you recover. And that doesn't mean that you have to lie there like a couch potato all day. You don't have to. You have to monitor how you feel. And if you feel okay and you feel like you could get out for a walk, go out for a walk, get some fresh air. Make sure you are nourishing your body. Like even if you don't feel hungry but you haven't eaten a meal or a proper wholesome meal, make sure you're giving your body what it needs. Your body needs energy to recover. So you might still feel like working out, and that's absolutely fine. There's no hard and fast rule. You might want to work out and just drop the intensity a little bit and monitor it and see how you feel. You might just want to go on a nice walk outside. And you might want to cozy up. Just do it based on how you feel. But there's nothing to say that you should and there's nothing to say that you shouldn't work out. But what you want to be doing is making sure that you are prioritizing your recovery. So you are prioritizing that rest time too, so you can get back to it faster. And it all depends on, how bad you feel as well, doesn't it? But I would definitely say make sure you're just giving your body nourishment, wholesome meals. Think, how would your mum treat you or how would your grandma treat you? Treat yourself like that. Be your own best friend, be your own mum. Treat yourself with kindness. Treat yourself with kindness and remember that there's lots of pillars to health. Fitness being one of them, and it is essential. Nutrition being one of them, that's essential, but also sleep and also stress management and making sure you're getting hydration in, so make sure you're drinking lots. Maybe a zinc and vitamin C supplement just to help boost your body, that could be a good idea as well. Anyway, that sums up today's Q&A. Thank you all for joining me on the live. And if you are watching this on replay, let me know. And as always, please let me know if this has been useful, because this is why I do it. I do it to help you guys. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you in, the rest of your evening. I will see you in class tomorrow morning, bright and early, or I'll see you at 9:30, so either 6:30 or 9:30. By the way, these classes are doing so well, and I think it's great to get into that routine of doing the class at the start of the day and keeping that routine. So Monday to Friday, know exactly where you are. You're going to get up before your body knows what's happening. You've done your workout, and yes, you're ready for the day. Oh, you're welcome, Amy. Thank you so much for joining me live. I will see you soon, team. I'm going live at 6:45, talking all about the Menopause Reset course as well. So if that's something that you're considering, come along to the Law and Marie Fitness page at 6:45, and I'll see you there. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Bye for now. See you later.